Hello, it's great to have you here again. Today I'm working with watercolors, a small watercolor notebook, watercolor paints, a micron fine liner pen, and a pencil and some paint brushes. You, of course, can use whatever materials you like. And today I am painting a watercolor window. I have been traveling quite a bit, and I have also been doing some larger watercolor paintings, and I thought it would be fun to do a little warm-up before I got into my regular art practice. So I picked a photograph from Pinterest. I'll link it down below. It's a simple little window, and I chose it because it had some pretty obvious shadows, and I think shadows are one of my favorite parts of paintings because they really bring the painting to life. Shadows add dimension and a broader range of values, and they really make a painting shine, in my opinion. So I'm just sketching out the window, not paying too much attention to how accurate it is. After all, this is my very first sketch/painting of the day. And while I was doing this, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if those of you who are watching are going to be upset that this isn't a tutorial. What I mean is, I make these videos for the purpose of sketching with you and hoping to inspire you to get in your sketchbook and just create. I'm purposefully not making a tutorial because I don't want you to be worried about the outcome. And I know that while I was doing this, in the back of my head, I was thinking, what if this comes out and looks terrible? I've never drawn this before. The lines are all wonky. It's too early. Why didn't I do this once before? But honestly, when you're constantly planning out what you're going to draw and you're overthinking it and trying to make it perfect, it just zaps the fun out of it. And I am making a conscious effort to have much more fun with my artwork. I have probably mentioned this countless times before, but I want you all to have fun and hopefully avoid some of the paralyzing effects of overthinking your art. Now, don't get me wrong, tutorials are fabulous, and I think they are essential to your growth as an artist. And I have found some wonderful tutorials on YouTube here that I start my day with, but I don't think you should solely focus on creating something that someone else has created. I think I fell into that trap when I first started my art practice, where I was constantly doing courses and videos from other artists, and it never allowed me to explore my own creativity and things that really appealed to me. Don't be afraid to get out there and find something that you think is pretty, or think of something that really makes you happy and just try to paint it without worrying about how to do it or how it should look in the end. And if you do it once and you don't like it, do it again. That is so important. I didn't want to worry too much about color in this warm-up sketch, so I just picked what looked good to me. It sort of resembles the reference image, but I didn't really follow it to a T. I'm mixing some light blues and pinks, and I'll also do some warmer reds in the flowers on the windowsill. I do have a question for you all today, and it's regarding what I said earlier about tutorials. Do you follow tutorials on YouTube? Do you prefer tutorials? Or do you just use YouTube as background and sit and paint with other people? Or do you do a combination of both? I found when I first started watching YouTube videos, I wasn't in a mindset to do any art, but watching other people inspired me to pick up my paintbrushes again. This was a while ago. And now I think I do a combination of both. I try not to do too many tutorials, as I mentioned before, but I also really love doing them because there are so many gifted artists out there and you can learn so much. So please let me know in the comments below. One of my favorite aspects of watercolor is how relaxing it is. I start with a light coat of color and I layer and layer and layer until it's as dark as I want it to be. And I can just zone out and listen to a show or an audiobook or a podcast and sort of forget about everything else that's going on in my life. I will admit though, when it comes to shadows, which I do love, as I said before, I get a little nervous in the beginning because it looks like I just messed up the entire painting. Like, why did I put this big splotch of gray right over my color? But as soon as it all works into the painting, it starts looking more realistic and it just makes sense. It's almost magical in a way. I decided to add more details at the end, and you see here I'm using the same 01 micron pen that I used in the beginning, but when you go over the paint, it comes out a bit thicker, the line. So when I went back and I added some lacy details to the curtains, I went down a size in my micron pen, a 005. Just a little tip if you decide to add any details at the end like I did. I also added some white fine liner details as highlights and for brickwork on the wall. And here we are, all finished. It turned out cuter than I thought it would. I was pretty worried at the beginning. And of course, if it didn't end up cute, that would have been fine. I hope you had fun, and I'm looking forward to sketching with you again soon. Take care.